if not for me, let's do it for this man Sahil Makkar, who joins the, I would say, dots and connect us all together. So kudos to you, Sahil bhai. You more than an entrepreneur, you have always been a brother to us. And thank you for hosting such a wonderful program, and that's version 14. Kudos to you. And it's indeed a privilege for me to be among all of you and hosting such power-packed panel of the, I would say, the seasoned professionals, the entrepreneurs who have created their mark with the grit, with the passion, with the focus, with the perseverance. And the people you're sitting here, we were just standing outside and we were discussing that the things haven't fallen from the roof for us. Well, I'm Dr. Munish Jindal. They talked all about my awards, but they didn't mention the kind of work we do. I'm a scientist and I'm into artificial intelligence. And we all would have driven or seen a scooter. I have recently made a scooter that you can fold, carry like a laptop in your hand, unfold it, ride it. Now I'm working on a project where each one of us can fly. Along with, we have created world's largest ecosystem in startups, currently operational in 65 countries, hand-holding the budding startups in terms of incubating, bootstrapping, funding and mentoring. And that is how me and Sahil bhai were connected together. And today, moderating this wonderful panel, it's indeed, I would say, a privilege for me, and I'm honored to be among these wonderful entrepreneurs. Right on my right side is Mr. Naviin Goel, the director of Zikzuk Technologies. Thank you, Naviin ji, for being us. On my just left side is Mr. Mohit Bansal, the founder of GMI Infrastructure, a renowned name in the Tri-City. Then we have wonderful Ajitpal ji, the director and CEO of Ultimate Utilities. You really need to see his business card. It speaks volumes. A man who could, I would say, who has summed up a book on his business card. And then we have wonderful Gursimran ji, is the founder and managing director of Institute of Professional Bankings. Wonderful, sir. That's indeed incredible. And to set the tone right for this panel discussion, I would love to take it forward with Mr. Naviin. Sir, as you are already into Zikzuk Technologies and you're into diversified fields, right? And I'm sure that you had a fair share of your own challenges, your struggles, but I wouldn't say it's struggle, I wouldn't say it a breakdown, it's a breakthrough for you. Now, each one of us, right? So, how was the journey?
So, good evening everyone. My heartfelt thanks to Dr. C. Sahil Makkar for arranging such a wonderful show here, a great platform for all of us to come together, learn from each other, share our thoughts, our experiences. Thank you, Dr. Munish. So, we have a very different topic here, and I have a different perspective to it. So, we are talking here about passion, we are talking about pressure and profit, which typically an entrepreneur looks at or goes through as an entrepreneurship life cycle. Now, coming here at a later stage, sometimes it makes it very difficult for the panelists. At the same time, it also becomes a little more easier, because you have so many learned people that you have already witnessed, who have already shared so much, and it gives a lot of insights and gives us that opportunity to really streamline what we have to share. I think the speakers at the beginning, starting with Mr. Ballabh Sahu, Dr. Ballabh Sahu, whether we talk about Gauravji, we talk about Jeff, we talk about Mr. Shrikant, one thing which I realized, all of them have highlighted something which is not here in our panel topic, which is missing largely is the purpose. Okay, what is the purpose? Why somebody decides to be an entrepreneur? Without a purpose, you may be very passionate, you may definitely go under pressure and leave aside profitability, right? Because you are just not having clarity of purpose. That's point number one. And like I think Mr. Kamal rightly said, that if you are chasing too many things or opportunities, you are not leading, you have lost. Okay? And that's where the relevance and importance of purpose comes into play. Okay. Likewise, if we talk about pressure, I think pressure goes off if you already have patience, right? And why I say so is, and that patience, when I say patience, so instead of the 3 P's here, I would rather put it purpose, patience and perseverance are the 3 key takeaways for any successful entrepreneur. So like Henry Ford once said, when you look at an airplane, it is always flying against the wind, right? It's not flying with the wind, largely, right? And that is what an entrepreneur normally encounters, not only in the start of the journey or the beginning of the journey, but throughout the journey. And what one needs to learn is how to overcome what are the so-called challenges, right? Now this is what probably is missing when we meet entrepreneurs, when we look at investments as an investor on the other side of the table. The purpose is missing. Vision comes next, right? Because the very beginning, the people are not looking at what is the pain that I am trying to address. So when I say that, what I mean is, do I have a long-term strategy in place, right? Am I there to stay long? Because this battle cannot be won, overnight. It is a long drawn battle, okay? Ballav rightly said, innovation is missing. Definitely, I agree with it, right? We are just trying to copy, add few relevant things here and there, and just go out in the market thinking that, okay, if they have done it, I can also do it. The next thing which I disagree here is profitability, right? I think the entrepreneur should look at value creation and not chase profits. Profit is going to be a byproduct if you are able to create value, not creating value for yourself. Create value for your customer. That is what is the key. If you don't look at your customer, you don't value your customer, you are simply chasing something which is out of bounds. Thank you.
Wow, Naviin, that's incredible how beautifully you summed up. The 3 P's you talked about, that is, I always call it, that the 3 P's even can summed up into one, that is simply a passion. If you're passionate, perseverance, planning, everything comes along with. And then you talked about the purpose, that is the vision we talk about always, that if you have a vision, obviously you're going to grow big. And yes, the beauty about entrepreneurship, I'm glad that you're the one entrepreneur who spoke about it, that always money or a profit is a byproduct of our efforts that we do. So kudos to you, Naviin. Thank you so much for deliberating. And now we have a wonderful Mr. Mohit Bansal, whose reputation precedes his name, GMI Infra, as everywhere you can see, it's displayed also. So sir, you created a mark for yourself, and you are one, I would say, entrepreneur who's into real estate as well as into artificial intelligence. So
yes, that is right. Actually, I'm a computer scientist. I have a degree in computer science and applied math. So I always wanted to utilize my degree, and then by destiny, I ventured into real estate. But then, eventually after 7 years into real estate, I wanted to additionally do something in technology. Then is when we started our AI company. Yes.
wow, that's incredibly awesome. I can totally resonate with you. I'm a commerce graduate, MBA, then CA, then I did my PhD in AI and robotics. So I'm managing the scientific side, and so side by side I'm managing another 8 companies into different ways, different domains. So can very well resonate with you. But I'm very curious to know, like computer scientist, becoming a real estate giant, to now artificial intelligence, the challenges, the struggles, the success story.
So I would also want to tell, along with these 2 companies, we also own one of the largest lighting company in India by the name of Spring Homes. It's a luxury lighting company. We do a lot of hotel chains and a lot of big industrial projects. And what I would want to say is that it's hard, I mean, I'm not going to say that it's easy, that that you're going to be able to achieve success in a day. it takes a lot of perseverance, it takes a lot of hard work, and you need to keep putting in work every day. Some days are going to be easy, some days are going to be hard, and you need to just keep yourself pushing every day, be it Monday, Tuesday, be it a Saturday, Sunday, be it 8 p.m., 9 p.m., whatever time. So the most important thing is just being there, showing up, and keep pushing yourself, keep doing the work, and eventually you'll realize that after a particular period of time, there comes an inflection point. As they say, a lot of people tend to give up before that point. So if you keep pushing, eventually there would come a day, when you're going to reach that, and then there is no looking back.
Wow, I'm glad, sir, that you how beautifully you shared that it's a journey. It's not an overnight thing. It's not a day's thing. It's a journey, and there comes an inflection point where you resonate with your lifestyle, and there is no looking back. That's true, and this is a wonderful message for the I would say the upcoming startups as well. That this is how you grow. It's not a one day thing. It's not an overnight.
I would also want to add that one thing that very few people know about me is that in 2015 when I started, my entrepreneurship journey, I used to be 98 and today I weigh 68, so I've lost 30 kgs. I think it is very, very important that, while you're on your journey, on the entrepreneurship journey, you do put in a lot of effort on maintaining a healthy lifestyle, because being healthy, being fit and being healthy is what is going to keep you getting to work every day and pushing the boundaries. And lately, the one thing that I haven't been ignoring myself for the last 10 years was my mental health. So recently I started working towards that also. So what I would say is, put in a lot of hard work, but along with that, do focus on your body, what you eat, and work out every day. I would prefer, you work out in the morning, because by that time your work day ends, if it ends at 9, 10, you're going to be exhausted in which way. So the easiest way to do it is to do it in the morning, even though I personally do it in the evening. So, but I think, it's going to be easier in the morning, and then eat healthy, and if possible, spend some time, in getting mental peace, mental health. It's very easy, you do breathing exercises for 10 minutes a day. So if you follow these three things, along with recognizing your market and having a good marketing and a good place, where you're pushing the product and a good product. I think these 6-7 components are of utmost importance to have success, on your journey of entrepreneurship.
Wow, I'm glad that you shared the importance of physical well-being as well as mental well-being. It's important. 3 people I can vouch for, 30 kgs, 20, 16. So we all are 40 plus. So, but at one point I would disagree when you said that for last 10 years we were ignoring our mental. No, you were not ignoring. At that time we started our journeys, we were maturing those journeys. So we were like either we were eating anything or we were overworking. Now after 40s, our version 2.0 has switched on, which is more of a fitter version, so that we can expand more with the smart work rather than the hard work.
I'd also want to rectify you. Currently I'm 36, so I'm not close 40. So I wouldn't say that 40 thing implies.
So at least I can say after 35.
Yeah,
at least after
yeah,
35.
That
So I could be 30 only. I won't let you know my age. But this is I always say version 2.0 happens when this inflection point happens, when you mature and then you realize, yes, you have to grow bigger, you have to grow, because I've seen that change in Sahil as well, how beautifully when he's been expanding internationally, he brought a sea change into himself. And one fine day he called me that, are you competing with me? I said, no, I'm not competing with you, I'm sharing this journey with you. So thank you, sir, that's indeed incredible. So coming to a wonderful, Ajitpal ji. Right, as I said that I loved your business card, and it speaks volumes about you, the facility management. It's really a tough space, right? And then balancing manpower, client expectations, and innovation. So I am sure you had your fair share of challenges in that. You had your breakdowns, which you would have definitely converted into breakthroughs. How was the journey, sir?
Sure. A very good evening, everyone. Thank you, Sarji, for having us over here. Well, first of all, I'd like to explain what FM actually is. I don't know if all of you would be knowing. We don't see facility management till we actually see certain things missing in the room. For example, if you see the lights are functioning, the place is clean, when you enter the premises, there is a guard to greet you. When you leave the premises, there's a person at the gate to greet you. So all that comes into facility management. If any of that thing is missing, you'll feel something is not at ease. It is more of a people-centric business: housekeeping, security, engineering, horticulture, and other kind of elite manpower services. So once you deal with manpower, I believe that's the toughest thing one has to deal with. One can deal with technology, one can deal with any software. But when it comes to human mind, that's way too erratic. And especially the kind of manpower we deal with in our kind of business, that's the lowest run category of the society. So it was with patience and perseverance and discipline, and you could say discipline, we managed the manpower sources all across India, be it in housekeeping, engineering, horticulture, and various other verticals. I'll give you an example. It's not only manpower we work with. One of our clients was having a huge energy bill, and it was just because of mismanagement. They were not able to control the air conditioning bill just because they were not using the technology. With the introduction of IoT, we managed to reduce their air conditioning bill by 18% just when it observed that the room was not full of the entire occupants. They could have stayed there. So technology was another thing that helped me manage the client's efficiency. Manpower is the second thing. And rest is all client relations. That is the best part of our business. And that is it.
Glad, sir. Ajitpal ji, that's incredible that how you're managing. You wanna add something?
I want to add, yes, as Ajitji was saying, that people would, you need people, for example, at the gate, and then, over here when you come in. Not only do you see if people are there, but, their dress code and their attire, and even their cleanliness, and their, small things, they matter a lot. So I really think it's a very, very hard business to win, because when it comes to machines and AI, it's very easy. 1 plus 1 is 2. But you can't really have that.
You won't believe we do get calls that the guy has not shared. I mean, we have to have an eye for detail. The janitor, needs to be looked like he's the CEO. He has to have his shoe polished. He has his face clean shaved. If he ties a turban, it should not be a Parnai Punjab. Well groomed. The shirt should be pressed. That is kind of an expectation our client has even from a janitor.
Yes, that's what I'm
And
saying.
94,000 janitors across India, so you don't
Congratulations
on
to
the point.
you to be able to put that out.
Wow. So this is what we call a wonderful deliberation that becomes so meaningful when they say the seasoned entrepreneurs, they come together, how beautifully the eye for details you have for the things in your particular fields that you're doing. And I love the line you said, a janitor should look like a CEO.
That's what my client says. We have clients who are hotels. I remember once a janitor entered the room and his shoe was not polished, and there was a director of operations in Oberoi. He picked out his handkerchief and literally wiped out the shoe of the janitor, and the entire team was just observing. And that was a lesson for the head of operations of housekeeping, that my director of operations is so finicky about the presence that he did it as an example.
I wouldn't use the word finicky. It's good to be like that,
Yes, I would say finicky. I would say very particular about.
Yeah, that's a better.
That's the right leadership, sir. That's the right leadership. That's what leaders they do. They don't just set the lead by example. So I'm glad. So that how beautifully this is unfolding. And from unfolding, we are taking it to Mr. Gursimran ji, right? Who's wonderful into Institute of Professional Banking and transforming education. And sir, employment in banking sector is not a small feat. So what personal or professional challenges that you faced and that shaped your vision and that kept you motivated through the process?
Right. Good evening to everyone. I am a diploma in tool and die technology. It's a specific field of mechanical engineering. I passed out in year 2000 and got a job in Microtech Parvanu. Then they shifted me to Pida Gadi Chowk and then Kundali Industrial Area. Finally hopped 2, 3, 4 jobs, and finally the gentleman in the past, this last panelist said कि कुछ लोग boss से दुखी होते हैं and then they start business. I was one of them. So I was coming from Baddi to Chandigarh. I was a works manager with some European multinational. They were into manufacturing of lighting fixtures. So my boss was in Europe somewhere. So he called me कि ऐसे ऐसे कल गुरसिमरन कर देना. I said better you email me. So he said कि सुन रहा है ना तो सुन ले. मैं कहा ठीक है जी. Next day I forgot 2, 3 things and then he started shouting. I thought कि ठीक है जी अब बहुत हो गया. So we have to do something. So I went into CII Franchisee India show in 2007 in the month of April. So I thought to start something. तो ज़्यादा पैसे थे नहीं. I live in sector 22 just opposite to JW Marriott. मेरे दादाजी ने घर बनाया, वहीं रहते हैं अभी भी. So पैसे थे नहीं. देखा कुछ सर्विस इंडस्ट्री में हो सकता है क्योंकि फैक्ट्री लगाना इतना मॉनिटरी नहीं है. So my wife was there with me. We got married in 2005. तो एक इंस्टीट्यूट था, इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ कंप्यूटर एंड फाइनेंस. की शायद कि इसकी फ्रेंचाइजी ले लेते हैं कि बच्चों को अकाउंटेंट में बड़ी प्रॉब्लम आती है. दे डोंट नो हाउ टू मेक अ बैलेंस शीट आफ्टर डूइंग बीकॉम एमकॉम. दे डोंट नो हाउ टू टैली का सॉफ्टवेयर कैसे चलाना है. सो वी स्टार्टेड विद दैट फ्रेंचाइजी. विद ड्यू पैसेज ऑफ टाइम दोज कोर्सेज वर मेड फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट बाय NSDC. सो बिजनेस खत्म हो गया एंड वी स्टार्टेड इन 2015 थिंकिंग के कुछ और किया जाए. माई वाइफ गॉट अ PhD फ्रॉम पंजाब यूनिवर्सिटी इन 2010. शी गॉट अ परमानेंट जॉब एज अ लेक्चरर विद पंजाबी यूनिवर्सिटी पटियाला. तो मैं देख रहा था कि अब यूनिवर्सिटीज़ में प्रोफेसर्स की सैलरी बड़ी अच्छी होती है. तो इन 2015 शी वॉज ड्रॉइंग अराउंड 60-65,000 एंड आई वॉज विद सम स्ट्रगलिंग कि क्या किया जाए अब नेक्स्ट. तो एक यू सेड के कई लोगों ने बोला कि बिजनेस ऐसे. तो माई वॉज ओनली के एक बंदे में ईगो होती है ना कि वाइफ की सैलरी से 5-10 हज़ार रुपया भी ज़्यादा कमा ले तो आई शुड डू स्टार्ट डूइंग समथिंग. सो समबडी सेड कि देयर इज अ वेरी गुड बिग स्किल गैप इन बैंकिंग. सो व्हाई नॉट बैंकिंग. सो आई मेट फ्यू HRs ऑफ द बैंक्स एंड देन दे सेड कि हाँ बच्चा BCom MCom या BA MBA करके आता है. दे डोंट नो व्हाट इज बैंकिंग. NEFT RTGS नहीं पता. सो वी स्टार्टेड वेरी स्मॉल 2-3 पीपल. आई हायर्ड अ सीनियर बैंकर. किताब लिखवाई, 2-3 बच्चों को पढ़ाया एंड देयर दैट टाइम वी यूज्ड टू चार्ज 20,000 फीस. सो 10,000 वी बोलते थे कि पहले दे दे, नौकरी लगने के बाद 10,000 और दे देना. वी स्टार्टेड लाइक दिस. वी स्टार्टेड फ्रॉम पंचकूला, देन वी ओपनड इन मोहाली. सो बेसिकली सर माई जर्नी इज ओनली बिकॉज के जहाँ जहाँ ज़रूरत पड़ती नहीं गई मैं वहाँ वहाँ चलता गया. पंचकूला की हैड अ सेंटर बट नन ऑफ द कैंडिडेट्स फ्रॉम पंजाब यूज्ड टू कम टू बिकॉज इट इज़ एन हरियाणा स्टेट. पंजाबी के दिमाग में हरियाणा सुन के कुछ हो जाता है. सिमिलरली वी स्टार्टेड इन मोहाली. नोबडी फ्रॉम हरियाणा इज अडेप्टिव टू पंजाब. सो वी वर कैप्चरिंग पंजाब, चंडीगढ़, हरियाणा, हिमाचल इज ऑलरेडी कमिंग टू शिमला वाली बेल्ट टू पंचकूला, इधर वाली बेल्ट टू कांगड़ा वाली बेल्ट टू मोहाली. So bank said that you are giving good candidate. Why don't you open a center in Delhi? We started one in Noida. So जितने पैसे थे we started with a loan. 7-8 लाख लोन लिया ये 22 सेक्टर में घर मॉर्टगेज करके. पहले तो यही था कि पैसे उतारे. फिर कुछ बीच में प्रॉब्लम्स आई, पैसे नहीं है. तो आई डोंट रिमेंबर इवन अ सिंगल फ्रेंड जिससे मैं पैसे ना लिए हो. मे बी स्कूल कॉलेज माई 5,000 10,000 कभी चेक बाउंस हो गया. फिर वो कई मेरे जैसे होंगे नाटा साहब गुरुद्वारे जाके वी यूज टू प्रे कि यार भगवान आज 10,000 कहीं से निकाल दे, चेक नहीं बाउंस होना चाहिए, बेइज्जती होगी. सो माई जर्नी इज लाइक दैट्स ओनली. क्योंकि फाइनली कोविड कोविड हमारे लिए बड़ा अच्छा रहा सर. बैंक्स में क्या हुआ, लोग छोड़ के चले गए. जलंधर का रहने वाला बच्चा इज पोस्टेड इन लुधियाना और चंडीगढ़ पेरेंट्स ने बुला लिया कि कोविड आ गया, तेरे को कोविड ना हो जाए, तू घर आ जा वापस, को नौकरियां बच्चे छोड़ के आ जाए. यूनिवर्सिटीज वर क्लोज. सो बैंक्स वर डिपेंडेंट ऑन अस वेयर दे आर गेटिंग रेडीमेड ट्रेन्ड मैन पावर. सो वी स्टार्टेड सप्लाइंग टू बैंक्स कुछ franchisees हमारे immediately खुले 21-22 because we are growing. So now we have presence in 13 states, 30 centers, and we have trained 11,000 graduates who are bankers working. Some are now branch managers of the banks. So ये 10 साल की जर्नी हुई, but it is always a pressurized भी. बैंक ने बोला दिल्ली खोलो, दिल्ली खोलिए, बैंक ने बोला बॉम्बे, फ्रेंचाइजिंग मोड में चले गए. So जबरदस्ती चलते गए, एंड जो शुरू में कुछ ड्रीम्स थे, मर्सिडीज लेनी है, घर की रेनोवेशन करानी है, वो 2 साल में पूरे हो गए. So I started doing business in 2007. So it took 15 years to be profitable, but yes, वो लगा रहा ओनली विद वन मिशन के हमने कभी किसी के साथ कोई झूठ नहीं बोला, कोई धोखा नहीं दिया, तो भगवान एक ना एक दिन तो पैसा देगा ही, सक्सेसफुल बनाएगा ही. वो जर्नी चलती की. नाउ वी आर एंजॉयिंग आवर लाइफ.
Wow, sir. Sir, it's incredible that you are the bamboo of the entrepreneur's world, right? The 15 years it took you, then you shot in 2 years. So you are the bamboo of the entrepreneur's world. Bamboo पता नहीं कितना टाइम लगता है, पर जब उसको ऐसे निकल के आता है. And today आप आज एक काम कर रहे हैं. When आप घर जाके सबसे पहले अपनी वाइफ को थैंक यू करें, क्योंकि उनकी सैलरी was the first motivator for you, right? तो पहले तो you should be grateful to her. Then second, when he was speaking, I noticed a very wonderful thing. Certain times the cultural variations are also, they also act as a boost to your business. When he's saying Haryana is not adaptable to Punjab, Punjab is, but now he's holding multiple centers because of that. So understanding those cultures in business, two things are very important. To have your own organizational culture that you build it through your different franchises, yes, kudos. And yes, to also understand the cultures around you. Currently, I am operating in 65 countries, and I'm taking about 18 to 22 flights every month. So you can understand how many cultures I need to understand, right?
You very well said, sir. And then one code of honor for yourself. So we set cultures for our organization, but not for ourselves. So we, जैसे शुरू में किसी ने बताया, integrity, honesty. So whatever the code of honor, you should have that. कई लोग कहते हैं जी मेरी business में ऐसे होता है, but what is for you? तो अपने लिए भी code of honor होना पड़ता है.
Yes, very true, sir. अगर आपका वो तो तू ही जो integrity जिसको हम कहते हैं ना, ethics, then only you can build when you have that code of honor. Then when you have that culture and the organizational behavior policies, then you don't deviate, right? And that is must, I would say. But commendable journey you have, and it's been 30 years for me as well that I've been working, so I can resonate all four of you what you are saying. And sorry.
You started when you were 2.
Thank you, sir. I take it as a compliment. I started when I was 14, sir. Way back in '96, I started. I used to get pocket money as 2 rupees, and I asked a raise to 20. I didn't. I got. They even stopped those 2 rupees and they gave me keys to our motor parts unit. And you won't believe the very first learning of mine happened from our foreman. I used to call him Foreman G, but he wasn't educated. And you know, I realized why? Because he had a skill. And that was the first learning that education only won't suffice, we need to have a skill. That is why my education is MBA, CA, but PhD is in AI and robotics to acquire the skill as well, right? So that is how I learned, that is how I started. Then in Australia, it was 2005, I was offered residence in 60 lakhs package, rejected it outright. Came back to India, कि भारत दिल में है और पेड़ वहीं उगता है जहाँ उसकी roots हैं. Today I'm a resident of multiple countries, but रहता यहीं हूँ. Take multiple flights, keep coming back here, and वो सबसे बड़ी बात है जो प्यार और the kind of warmth we have for each other here, that is not anywhere else. So let's stay united and continue this journey forward. Naviin ji, you had a beautiful journey in your entrepreneurship, your fair share, challenges, struggles, breakdowns, breakthroughs, whatever you talk about, right? You did it all. How we can convert your life journey or your life lessons for the budding entrepreneurs? What would be your guidance to them?
Yeah, I think that's a very relevant question here, and I think all of us probably have been facing these bumps, anywhere while we are driving on the roads, or be it our life or careers. And somewhere I think we are privileged to be in this country where we have learned to navigate it, right? And The beauty of it is, so there is a book that I'm trying to pen for quite some time, which the title is Success Preaches and Failure Teaches. Now, largely when we are listening to a lot of people, and that applies to maybe everyone here also, we feel yaar successful ho gaya to gyan baat rahe hain, right? But the actual learning comes when you encounter failures, and nothing better than learning from your own failures, right? Not others' failures, but your own failures. The learning is, very, very important. Coming back to something which was very interesting, which our co-panelists just said, pressure, right? So pressure for an entrepreneur is definitely a situation, not only outside, but also inside, which is you are fighting with your own self. You are also trying to manage your relationships, especially for those who are married, right? Those who have a family, those who care for the society. Okay?
Sorry interrupting you. You feel single person, they don't care for the society. I'm single, that is one more curious.
So I'm saying people who care for the society, right? If you don't give a damn to the society, it's fine. Okay? But for the married or the people who are more family oriented, I think the challenges are multifold, especially in the kind of social setup we have here in India. And that is one of the biggest challenges, was what most of the entrepreneurs find very difficult to navigate, right? They can fight the outside world, but they find it very difficult to fight their own family, right? Setting up the expectations, right? That is something very, very critical, and largely because most of the people take up entrepreneurship when they are 35, 40, right? And they are already into family life. They are already having, a lot of expectations to be mapped. But that is what is the beauty of entrepreneurship. And if you have dreamt of something, if you have a purpose behind it, you are looking to do some larger good, I think all these things can be taken care. And that's how it all started for me as well. It all started when I was in college, and the very first and the only interview that I gave on the campus way back in the year 1992, that was, what do you want to do and where do you want to see yourself? And my instant answer was, before the age of 35, be myself, maybe, an entrepreneur, and by the age of 50, I want to retire, right? Unfortunately, the second one I couldn't do. I'm still struggling for that. But the first one, yes, I became an entrepreneur at the age of 32, living a well-cushioned job, not really having a fight with my boss, but I wanted to dislodge him of his position, which I couldn't do, right? So it was not a fight per se, it was more of a competitiveness. But then that was good enough a reason for taking up entrepreneurship. So I started with a chain of preschools, which I sold off to Macquarie, Australia, within 3 years. Then that gave me an insight into education. So started off with the first video resume portal in India, and probably amongst the few globally, which we ran very successfully till about 2009, sold that off. Again started a portal which was a not-for-profit, which was Campus Connect India, where we had more than 500,000 students who were given free access for preparation. So largely moved into edtech space before I jumped into fintech in the year 2019. And today we have one organization which is already a listed entity in India. The second one, we are going to have a PPI license very soon, and we wish that we can also make it a unicorn soon. Right? Thank you.
Wow, that's incredibly awesome. Thank you, Naviin, when you talked about that Gyan partner. Trust me, it's not, we all are here not to quantify any Gyan. We are more about, like when I would believe each one of us would resonate.
When I say
what I'm
talking about the perception which the audience knows.
Yeah, from that point I'm saying that what I'm saying is that when we all started, there was no one to handhold us. The purpose why Sahil has organized this is that the budding entrepreneurs, there is someone to handhold. So all what we are doing is that whatever mistakes we committed, they shouldn't commit that. Yes, commit mistakes every day. They're gonna make you a better human being. I never say that if you fail. I say when you fail. For sure, each and every human being, they are going to fail, for sure. So when you fail, you have at least these lessons handy, you have these people handy too. And you very beautifully summed up your portfolio of work as well. I loved it. You had a very dynamic journey, very versatile. But one point I really disagree here to agree. I would say we never fight with families. Families are to nurture. We have no fights with the families. There a lot goes inside the families, but families are always to nurture, always is to listen upon to. Today, I'm juggling in 65 countries. I told my family, you are celebrating, you are happy, your festivals, I'm not there. Even a pin pricks you, wherever in the world, I'm there. Right? And so I always say, whatever I believe India has the best culture. There was a survey done across the world that India holds the lowest rate of depression. You know why? When a baby borns, the baby stays most of the time in the arms of parents, grandparents, both sets of grandparents. So the baby is more secure rather than when you see how the babies are brought up in US or UK or another countries. So we hold the most, I would say, close-knitted, most beautiful families. And even today, I believe, regardless of your age or my age, still we won't ever, I would raise our head in front of our parents, right? Even if they are wrong and they say you are wrong, we say yes, okay, we are wrong. So that is the beauty for our culture, we say, and those cultural diversities when brought together, they make us a better human being. So thank you for.
Just one
yes,
more
sir,
point
please.
I want to add.
Yes, please.
So, everywhere probably we highlight profit, but I think things have changed. Though there can be differences of opinion, there can be different investor perspectives there. Largely, if we see today unicorns, they are not profitable, right? Yet they come up with IPOs, they have VCs running after them, they get valuations of like crazy valuations of 20 billion, 30 billion, and they are still far away from being profitable. In fact, I think one IPO is on the board there. Probably our friend from Motilal Oswal would be a better person to comment on it. And the company has a losses of about 1700 crore, yet they have the guts to go for an IPO, right? But that was not the case maybe 10 years ago or 15 years ago. My personal advice to an entrepreneur or a budding entrepreneur would be, don't chase profits, right? Create value. Profits is something, yes, definitely required for survival. And like one of our panelists, I think Preeti ji just mentioned, when you have no right to play with others' money, right? You need to value it like your own money, right? And that can only be done once you have profitability at least on the drawing board, if not anywhere else, right? Which is missing these days. Because people are running after valuations. They don't talk profitability. They only talk valuations. I have 50 million people and that's my value. No, I think a lot of people may agree, but I disagree. Okay? I think profitability at the end is a must. Right? Thank you.
Thank you, Naviin ji, for throwing deep insights towards the value creation part, and that is what we all believe in. And I believe, Mohit ji, you want to add something, or I would love to ask you something.
What I would want to say is between expansion and profitability, my personal view is expansion is more important. As you might would have seen, Swiggy came with loss of 1100 CR in last one quarter, with a revenue of approximately, I think, 5000 CR. I'm not sure if you're talking about Lenskart, which company you're talking about. Lenskart is coming up in an IPO. But the thing is, that I also personally track, a lot of equity. For example, I would want to give example of Blinkit. Blinkit came with a profit of 50 crores in last one quarter. I think they declared results like last week, and their market expense was 550 CR. So what they're trying to do is, they're still trying to acquire, more market share. Had they chosen profits, they could have gotten profits of 350 CR, and have not spent, 300 CR, which they spent in marketing. So it's a very tough question, especially when the companies get an opportunity to grow at 30% annual growth or 50% annual growth. Companies like Eternal and Swiggy and Dixon, has been growing very, very fast. I think, it is very, very important to cut profits and, if need be, not only have to do it that deliberately and expand and capture as much market as you can. That's my position.
Wow, that's incredible, Mohitji. And I'm in sync with both of you. You talked about expansions, yes, that is required. Naviin ji talked about that go for value creation, not for what is exactly happening in the VCs. They come into picture, they say whatever you're making, sell it at a loss, but just get us the valuation or more numbers in terms of maybe more customer acquisitions. That is what he was speaking about. Don't go for valuations, but both are talking on the same line of entrepreneur. You're talking about expansions, he's talking about value creation. So I'm glad. So this is what is needed. Whosoever are budding entrepreneurs here or startups, these are really deep dive lessons that you don't get into any books, not into the Google. That you can only get when you have lived that life firsthand, and that too for years and years and years. So Mohitji, this is indeed incredible on your part. To continue with you itself, your GMI infra is everywhere, right? But I really want to know about, more curious to know about your Mind Sky AI, what exactly is into, and there is a second part to the question also. Your quick message for the budding entrepreneurs, how they can balance creativity with the commercial viability of a startup.
So, Mindsci AI is again a solution that we formulated while facing a problem ourselves of digital marketing, where we realized that, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs, maybe 90% of the entrepreneurs who are into digital marketing themselves or they outsource, the biggest problem they face is, how to make the Google campaigns or Facebook campaigns as effective as possible. Because what used to happen was, when we would, for our e-commerce company, when we would run campaigns, and we would do test A, with test B, with test A, we would get ROI of 100, for example, compared to another campaign which would be test B, where we would get an ROI of 30, for example. So what we started doing was, we have been able to build this AI model, which what it does is, it would create ads, Google ads and Facebook ads, based upon the feed, based upon the ads of your competition, and based upon the artificial intelligence, wherein it would try to guess, based upon what has been fed to it by all the data it has scraped, as to what ads are more likely to be clicked. So our software would then make a set of ads for a particular campaign, maybe 5 ads or 6 ads, and then would run it over the course of 1 month, and then test the same campaign across all 6 ads and come up with the best ad that works for your campaign and your product. And the benefit is that that's why a lot of entrepreneurs tend to these days spend, especially in e-commerce, a lot of money on Google and Facebook and all other marketing channels. To the extent that if you're an e-commerce company, you're expected that 30% of your revenue is going to go in marketing expense on Google, which is a substantial chunk. So if you're able to find a better ad for your product, where you can, for example, decrease your cost by 20 or 30% for acquiring the customers, that would increase the profitability by 5-6%, which once you are growing, to hundreds of crores, it becomes a big number. So that is what we are trying to achieve with the artificial intelligence company Mindsci AI. Even though my first exposure with artificial intelligence was when I myself wrote code, way back in 2010-11. When at that point of time we would use MATLAB, and neural networks to train the networks. So we kind of had some inclination from how that works, and that's what we have incorporated in our entity over here.
Wow, wow, that's indeed incredible, sir. How beautifully you have, I would say, shown us the deep insights that how, I would say, AI works and how the numbers can be crunched and that can be proven beneficial to the growth of the company. Thank you so much. And taking it forward to Ajitpal ji, sir, as you are already into utility services, this is a vast field. I would really love to know what it requires to thrive in today's competitive landscape.
Thank you. So, thrive in today's workspace, if I can correlate it with FM, you need to be competitive. The market share is pretty big, but again, we have unorganized players. We need to take care of the bottom line and increase the top line as well. So, to thrive, you need to get where you, as so rightly said, get the top line increase, and simultaneously consider the bottom line to be intact, because ultimately you need fuel to run the business, you need profits coming in, you need to have purpose, which is the ultimate soul of the business. You need to manage the pressure, build capacity to manage that pressure precisely. So ultimately passion is the first step. That is from where the story begins, from where the process starts. You need to be passionate where the story is starting. You need to have a process to define the entire story. Then build capacity for the pressure. Finally, profit to fuel the business. And at the end, purpose for the soul.
Wow, incredible. So it's the journey of passion, persist, purpose, I say. And you know how I would sum up is passion, persist, purpose, repeat.
I repeat, it's a vicious cycle and which continues, it's a never-ending process. In our kind of business, every day is a firefighting day. And FM, no day is an off day. We are working 365, 24 cross 7. Even at night, I do get calls. I mean, the building's not functioning.
Sir,
the gas not there.
not only you, Ajitpal ji, every entrepreneur is.
Well, we don many hats. We are an operation manager, we are an accounts guy, we are the sales guy, we are the funders, we are the fundraisers. So we wear multiple hats, and that's the life of an entrepreneur.
Wow. So, but every entrepreneur is like that. I always say that if you push an entrepreneur down a mountain cliff, you know that entrepreneur won't think of dying, he will think of making an aeroplane while falling down the cliff.
Well,
so each and every entrepreneur, and kudos to you, sir. You have done marvelous in your field and managing the kind of, I would say, services and the man force. It really requires that.
Well, it's not only the man force. It's starting up another verticals. We started with interior and architectural consultancy. Then we ventured into real estate consultancy. So we added on the other verticals. Though they were not manpower driven, I find them relatively decent than what I've been doing for the last 25 years. Managing manpower truly is a challenge, and that too, I would say, the most truncating.
And that's what has carved you a very wonderful human being in yourself, and a seasoned entrepreneur I'm seeing. And when we've been talking, like when you were talking about the hard work, you know, there was a time when I was working 44 hours in a row. I used to sleep alternative nights. Then I brought it down to 21, and then when Mohit ji has rightly said that you have to take care of your mental wellness and physical well-being, from this year onwards I've reduced my working hours. Now these days I'm only clocking 16 hours a day.
Well, that's still too much, I would say. I read a lot of maintain work-life balance.
No, sir, honestly, there is nothing called work-life balance. I'm being very honest, very clear. It is all about, you need to listen to your own, again, mental well-being and body needs. From next year, I have decided that I'm gonna start working only 12 hours and maybe invest more into the new startups, right? So that is how we're gonna take it forward. You wanna add something, sir?
Work. I'm not able to work more than 6 hours a day. I don't know.
Well, I'll put it to 10.
Wow, that's so that is what we all have our fair share of journeys. That is how we're clocking in. And so going down to the bamboo of the, I would say, the entrepreneur's world, right? Sir, hopefully no offense to you if I'm calling you bamboo. Thank you so much, sir. So, sir, you are again, you're into skilling, you're into education, you're into, I would say, the banking partnerships, the industry tie-ups. Lots already into your plate now, and journey has unfolded very beautifully for you. So, what is what is the one lesson that you would want to give to the ones who are starting their journey now? As you had a really, I would say, a deep fair share of the life, you have seen it very closely.
So basically, sir, everything boils down to what everybody is saying, the purpose, the strong why. So when I started, it was to get rid of the boss. Then to grow further, it was कि मेरी सैलरी मेरी वाइफ से ज़्यादा हो जाए, उससे ज़्यादा कमाऊँ. And then later I realized कि my wife finished. I bought Mercedes in 2021. I renovated my house and I was just enjoying my life. We were going every Sunday to Shimla और बच्चों की छुट्टियाँ and Singapore and Dubai, and we enjoyed 23, 24 like anything. And I thought कि मेरा purpose खत्म, अब ठीक है कर लिया. So कई बार क्या होता है कि when you think कि मेरे को ये चीज़ चाहिए वो मिल जाती है, फिर वो वैल्यू खत्म हो जाती है. So it happened with me. So I had a business coach from Bangalore. He redefined my why. So we had a great discussions कि क्यों करना है, सोच कुछ और सोच. And then finally I found कि I enjoy what I am doing. Secondly, जब बच्चों की जॉब लगती है, they come with a लड्डू का डब्बा कि सर जिंदगी बन गई. And now I think every fortnightly I am getting a wedding card from my one or the other student. So now that is the purpose which is driving me.
They are wondering. I tell you what is happening. They are wondering कि इतने लड्डू के डब्बे खा के इतनी weddings पे जाके भी how this man is spent.
So basically sir, वो why change होनी बड़ी जरूरी है. Otherwise you one day you get stagnated.
That I totally agree with you sir. अगर why रहनी भी चाहिए, चेंज नहीं मैं कहूँगा, एड ऑन. वाइज एड ऑन होनी बड़ी ज़रूरी है. बिकॉज अगर इफ आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट माई लाइफ स्टाइल, एवरी 3 years आई स्टार्ट अ न्यू कंपनी. मैं उस कंपनी का CEO भी हूँ, उसी कंपनी का HR ऑपरेशन सब कुछ मैं ही हूँ. बट देन आई स्केल इट अप, बिल्ड इट अप इन न्यू वन. सो मेरे पास 30 years की जर्नी यही है कि नाउ माई 11th कंपनी इज इन द पाइपलाइन. राइट, तो वो वाइज मेरी एड ऑन होती रही. मेरी वाइज खत्म नहीं हुई, चेंज नहीं हुई. सो आई एम ग्लैड सर. बट ये सीक्रेट तो शेयर करो ना, इतने लड्डू के डब्बे और वेडिंग्स पे जाके हाउ यू आर सो फिट.
सर वो वेलनेस कोच रखना पड़ता है ना.
अच्छा.
सो टू सम अप सर, व्हेन वी, ये चैलेंजेस कभी खत्म नहीं होंगे सर. व्हेन वी स्टार्टेड, या मेरी मैरिज हुई, मेरे पास एक ऑल्टो होती थी और एक दाज में एक्टिवा मिला था. सो फिर धीरे धीरे जब हमने बड़ी गाड़ी ली, फिर उससे बड़ी गाड़ी ली, वो मज़ा ही कुछ और आता है. बट देन यू हैव टू बी ग्राउंडेड एंड यू नीड टू रिमेंबर कि यार व्हाट वाज द पर्पस व्हेन आई स्टार्टेड. चलो फुलफिल हो गया, लगे रहे. सर अभी दिलजीत दोसांझ का यहाँ शो हुआ था सेक्टर 34 में. सो मेरे को टिकट नहीं मिली, किसी ने मेरे को 2 दी, तो माई बोथ डॉटर्स वेंट. तो मैं बाहर ही खड़ा था. मैं कहा चलो तुम जाओ, मैं बाहर खड़े होता हूँ. सो वन थिंग दिलजीत दोसांझ सेड कि लोग मेरे को कहते हैं तू इतनी जल्दी सक्सेसफुल हो गया. वो कहता 22 साल हो गए. सो आई स्टार्टेड विद तुम भी इन माई मेले ते जाके मैं गांदा सीगा. एंड देन स्लोली ये हुण मैनू ग्लोबल स्टेजेस मिलियां. सो इट इज़ अ जर्नी एंड यू हैव टू स्टार्ट स्मॉल इफ यू आर अ फर्स्ट जनरेशन एंटरप्रेन्योर. एंड देन अगेन यू हैव टू टेक केयर ऑफ योर हेल्थ. तो एक एग्जांपल याद आई सर, because we are sitting in JW Marriott. 2020 during COVID times I used to come to this top floor gym. तो एक दिन ना मैं आया थे, वो जिहड़ा जिम वाला सीगा कहता सर आप दूसरी ट्रेडमिल पे चले जाओगे. सो देयर वर ओनली 6 ट्रेडमिल्स, एक छੱਡ के वो करते सी. सो ओनली 3 or 4 people were allowed in the gym. So my daughter was there, I was there. So कहते एंड जो अगले गेस्ट आए वो मेरे चाचा जी थे. तो आए उसी गल करने लग गए. सो ही रन्स अ कंपनी, गुजर के पिछले 2 साल पहला, ही रन्स अ कंपनी बाय द टॉर्क फार्मास्यूटिकल्स. टॉरेक्स कफ सिरप बनाया सी. सो ही स्टार्टेड इन 1989 एज अ, ही वाज वर्किंग एज अ मेडिकल रिप्रेजेंटेटिव. ही स्टार्टेड वेरी स्मॉल इतने चंडीगढ़ इंडस्ट्रियल एरिया प्लॉट लैके एक छोटी जी फैक्ट्री. एंड स्लोली ही ग्रुप अप. तो उन्होंने मैंने उस दिन गल कही कहते गुरसिमरन नाउ कंपनीज वर्थ इज 15,000 CR. तो दे हैव नाउ 15 प्रोडक्ट्स, सारे बड़े अच्छे स्केल करके. बट हिज हेल्थ इज डिटोरिएटिंग अ लॉट. सो कहते थे कि भी बस मैं खत्म ही हाँ. एंड आफ्टर 2-3 years ही So taking care of health is also a very so खुशी ਜਿਹਦੇ ਚ ਮਿਲੇ ਨਾ now I am enjoying ਸਵੇਰੇ ਜਿਮ ਜਾਣਾ ਸ਼ਾਮ ਨੂੰ ਸੈਰ ਕਰਦਾ ਸਰ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ 6 ਘੰਟੇ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦਾ ਮੈਂ ਵੀ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ 3-4 ਘੰਟੇ ਤੋਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਕੰਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦਾ so systems processes can only scale you up so that is what is my
This is really incredible, sir. How beautifully you have said that systems and processes should be there, and entrepreneurship is literally a journey. And if you see any of us or any of the people who, and you think they've been successful overnight, no, there have been a great passion, hard work. Their struggles, even there have been times they would have cried, right? And it's only the success that is visible. Their cries, their struggles are not visible. So, but it's a journey. Keep going for it. And again, I would say that when you fail, don't back off. It's called realign. Realign your strategies, realign your life, and you will grow if you will keep going on. Live example, 4 of them, right? I have to become something in life. I'm still working towards that. Ji sir ji.
ਇੱਕ ਗੱਲ ਯਾਦ ਇਹ ਆਈ ਵੀ ਨਾ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਟੀਮ ਬਿਲਡ ਕਰੋਗੇ ਵੈਨ ਵੀ ਬਿਲਡ ਟੀਮਸ ਸੋ ਇੱਕ ਦਿਨ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਕਿ ਐਵਰੀਥਿੰਗ ਇਜ਼ ਸਟੇਬਲਾਈਜ਼ ਸਿਸਟਮ ਪ੍ਰੋਸੈਸਿਸ ਬਣ ਗਏ ਯੂ ਹੈਵ ਦੀ ਟੌਪ ਆਫ ਦੀ ਟੌਪ ਟੀਮ ਦੇ ਆਰ ਵਰਕਿੰਗ ਵਿਦ ਯੂ ਫॉर ਲਾਸਟ 5-7 years and suddenly you go to office and you know that your chief marketing officer or chief training officer has left and they have started their own company which is perfectly fine god bless them they should do but then why we are entrepreneurs because we have to वो जिसको कहते हैं ना गिर के दोबारा उठना जिसको आ गया ना वो रियल entrepreneur है and it takes time to get into this feeling and
कहते इस पर वो याद है कहते गिरते हैं घुड़सवार ही मैदान जंग में वो तफल क्या गिरे जो घुटनों के बल चले हैं तो फिर पर that is what entrepreneurs are sir so thank you so much on this note I would really be concluding this on a wonderful note that yes entrepreneurship is a journey and it's really beautiful and you know when people ask me what you love about life I say this journey is what I'm madly in love with I don't know anything beyond work and this is what gives me happiness this is what keeps me alive and this is what gives me purpose to go on and I believe that's true for all of us so thank you so much and thank you Sahil ji again for hosting each one of us kudos to you thank you